Becky?
All right, we're going to move on to service awards. First award that I'm giving is to the gentleman behind the camera. He was given this award last year, was unable to be here, so we wanted to present it to him while he's here in person. Mr. Ken Walker, for all of his videoing and your ability to watch it. Thank you again for all of those great videos.
Gotcha. Thank you.
The next service award that I'm giving is to a friend of mine, but also a huge friend of the Wisconsin Harness Horse Association, Marilyn Therian, for her tireless work in Midwest horse fairing and in the grandstands, and anywhere you need her, Marilyn is there. All you have to do is call. So thank you very much to Marilyn. Our next service award is again to somebody that you don't see right up front, but whenever we need an extra hand, an associate judge, help in the grandstand, somebody to bring a horse to the horse fair, you name it, and Greg does it. And Greg is one of those behind-the-scene great people that you can count on, and we would just like to show him some appreciation for all the work he's done. So Mr. Greg Nebgen for all of his help behind the scenes. All right, and then the last three, they're actually separate awards, but I'm going to present them all together, are to Pat, Gretchen, and John Springer. And we all have seen their artistic contributions to the WHHA as we've gone on throughout the years, from the little driver's board to the background art that they've done for the Midwest Horse Fair, to the horse head, paper mache horse head out here, the caricatures, you name it, they have added just an amazing background to the rest of our lives. So we want to thank them for all their support. So John, Gretchen, and Pat, thank you.
This year's recipient of the James Laird Memorial Award for Excellence is the 7th horse to win this award since its inception. Party Hangover is the daughter of Party at Arts Place and Mora Hanover. Owned by Horseman's Financial and Premier Racing, she lives and trains in Clinton, Wisconsin. During 2012, she made 22 starts, earning 8 wins, 3 seconds, and 3 thirds. She took an impressive mark of 151-3 at the Illinois State Fair in Springfield in August, when she won the Illinois State Fair Championship. Among her other victories, she was a winner at DuQuoin and a winner in the Grandma Ann at Balmoral on Super Night. Unfortunately, Party Hangover could not join us this evening, but Her representatives from the DeLong stable are here to accept on her behalf. So please join me in congratulating Party Hangover.
What was that time again? 51:02, I believe. Hey, just check. I remember Bobby Yan saying to me, take these when they come, because they don't come every day when you win a championship in Illinois. And I always remember that. I called, we were down in the winner's circle that night at Super Night, and my phone rang, and John was saying, get over here, Dad, get in front, get over here. And I look at the thing, it's Eric, and he says, hey, he was in Iowa racing. He was the only one of my boys that couldn't be with me. And he said, Dad, I hope you don't mind, but I bought everybody around out here at the bar tonight for the credit.
Congratulations, Jay. Just a side note on that, we were all up in Viroqua racing on Super Night, and we pulled up the internet, we're watching online, and we were all cheering for you and hooting and hollering, and I think we kind of outdid the race cars that were going that night. So congratulations from all of us that were watching. I've been very fortunate to be president of this organization for 9 years now. And each year, the president chooses a horse person of the year, and it's never an easy decision because there's so many people out there that are very deserving. So I mill over and I bounce it off some people, and this year was a pretty clear-cut choice. Brian McMahon, somebody that's been a member here for many, many years. A little background, he started hot walking thoroughbreds and was a jockey for thoroughbreds, so he started out in those running horses over there that we don't... we're in competition with them, and maybe that's the reason why Mr. Jughead had some issues this year. I don't know, but Brian started with the thoroughbreds with him and his dad John, who's also in the Hall of Fame here. Continued racing those throughout the Midwest and down in Chicago. They had a thoroughbred by the name of Turn a Miss that was a handicapper down in Chicago. So I had great success. He followed his dad's footsteps into the harness racing business when he purchased a horse by the name of Prairie Buck, which working with him kind of gave Brian the harness racing bug. From there, he took it on the business full force. He's always had a small stable, but always been very focused on what he wanted to do. He buys 2- or 3-year-olds, generally Illinois breds. Absolutely no desire to buy a trotter. As much as I poke and prod and tell him he needs a trotter, he needs one, he won't do it. But they're 2- and 3-year-old Illinois breds. Last couple of years, he has strayed from that thing and kept them 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, but they've been good horses doing it. Comes to every race meet in Wisconsin if his family doesn't schedule a family reunion that day. But otherwise, and he's had great success. He's had 7 horses in the top 10. In 2008, Brian did the unthinkable. He had the Pacer of the Year and the runner-up Pacer of the Year. Took them both to the fairs. Both of them did very well, obviously, Fox Valley Windy and Audrey's Queen. So did a great year in 2008 and just keeps continuing. I mentioned Mr. Jughead earlier. That's a horse that he raced this year that had a few problems staying on the pace. Dashing Danny drove him. I drove him. Gary Rath drove him. And everybody drove him, and it was always a little hard time keeping him flat. But by the end of the year, he won a race at Viroqua, goes to Chicago, win a race in Chicago. Basically, it demonstrates the true ambition of a horseman. Taking something young, start to finish, not giving up when it doesn't look very good, when they're making breaks all around the racetrack. So I hesitate to say this because his brother cornered me back by the bar and said, you know, you use the word patience, and you must not know him very well. So, but to me, Brian's always demonstrated the passion for racing, the patience to work with a horse. He starts the year, he ends the year with that horse, whether it's good or bad. and really